Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be talking about 5 misconceptions that people have in the current state of Dota. These are ideas that are probably holding you back to some extent in your grind to gain MMR. So without further ado, let's hop into it. Let's talk about some misconceptions that people have. And alright, let's waste no time. So the first misconception is that every single team needs a hard carry. I've been thinking for a while now that, honestly for years now, that roles are overrated. For the longest time, Dota has been one hard carry, a mid laner that tends to be a tempo hero, but that has shifted over time, and an offlaner. Obviously 2 supports as well, but supports, I don't think supports are going to become cores anytime soon. Like hard cores. I don't think you're going to have 5 heroes with equal net worth. But supports do still farm nowadays. Like, it's pretty funny. The game has really shifted towards like everyone can farm. But okay, people really still seem to think that every team needs a hard carry. And this just clearly isn't the case. I mean, the best example of this is literally the best team in the world right now. I'm sure a lot of you guys are fans of Team Falcons, and I'm definitely one of their biggest fans. I love watching them play Dota, and I love the way they draft. One of the staples of their current drafts is the Flex Dragonite. They also flex a variety of different heroes, the Timbersaw and the Razor, but to me, the Dragonite is most interesting because it flexes to the safe lane role. It's a carry. Now, Dragonite is not a good traditional carry hero. This hero cannot 1v9 the game. It doesn't do that. It's never going to hit a timing like Phantom Assassin or Anti-Mage or Phantom Lancer could. It just won't do that. So why in the world does Skeeter play carry Dragonite? Well, the main reason is because his other 2 cores are scaling heroes. People just have these very preconceived notion of what a late game hero is. But for instance, Doom and Timbersaw are 2 of the hardest scaling heroes in the game. Razor is another example of this. And so if you're playing hard carry and you have last pick, it is a great idea to say, how hard do my teammates scale? Is my mid a TA? Is my offlaner Razor? Okay, maybe instead of picking Anti-Mage and saying, well, I'm the hard carry, or picking Luna and saying, I'm the hard carry, I gotta farm. Well, instead you can round out your draft. Pick a Dragonite. Or you can even just pick something like Weaver or Monkey King, a hero that's going to buy Gleipnir. Sure, these heroes are still harder carries than Dragonite, but at least it's somewhere more in the middle. And I think a lot of people need to see Dota this way if they really want to take their game to the next level, especially if you happen to be a carry player. Alright, getting into the next one is that you have to create space as a support at all times. I think people have a very narrow idea of what supporting is. I think they see the role as open the map for the carry, help the mid get kills, or help the offlaner get kills. This is how people think. And of course, like, place wards and blah, blah, blah. You know, go de-ward, go place your wards, like all that type of supporting stuff. But they don't really think that they can take space. And this is a very sad way to play support in Dota because it's very limited and is going to prevent you from getting to the highest of ranks. If you look at top level support players, they farm and take an ungodly amount of space. For instance, I know I'm referring back to Team Falcons, but they're the best team in the world right now, so I think it's quite reasonable. If you look at a player like Snake King, I mean, Crit is a great example as well. He farms quite a lot, especially if he's playing something like Batrider. But if you look at a player like Snake King, as position 5, his hero pool is primarily consisting of heroes that take space. Specifically heroes that take space safely. These heroes are Venomancer, Mirana, Enchantress. All heroes that have some way to clear waves without instantly dying afterwards. Mirana has Leap, Veno has Plague Wards, and Enchantress has all of her abilities outside of Impetus, right? Creep, Untouchable, Nature's Attendance, literally all of them. And so you might be like, okay, how does he have impact if he's literally taking space? Well, the space he's taking is the space no one else can take. It's the dead lane, quote unquote. The problem is the dead lane can shift. The dead lane is a bad way to put it in this case because it also includes neutral camps, right? All throughout the map. If there are neutral camps, which in this patch, probably the next ton of patches, there will be open neutral camps and no one's farming it, it's often a good idea as a support to take it. Now, this isn't me telling you guys, hey, if you're playing support, the best way to gain rank is to play heroes that can kill neutral camps, like Veno, like Mirana, like Enchantress. Clearly, Snake King has a way he likes to play Dota. He loves having the option to clear waves safely and clear neutrals. Clearly, he values this in his hero pool. You don't have to play support this way. You can create space as a support. That's fine. You can take that role. If you notice your team is extremely greedy, sure, maybe you do want to try to create space. But there's certain points in the game, especially if you're playing a farming support like Ench or Mirana or Reno, that you just shouldn't be creating space because your carry's not online, your mid is not online, your offlaner's primal split is on cooldown, it's daytime and you have a Night Stalker, your mid is playing Zeus and he's 500 gold off Phylactery. You shouldn't always be forcing plays. If you're a good player, you make plays around timings, around vision advantages, around daytime, nighttime cycles, like depending on, maybe you're playing Bane and it's nighttime and so you want to make moves. There's a lot of things you can create space. There's a lot of things you can do to make sure that when you're creating space, it's actually on a timing and then you can farm in the downtime. And that's truly how you become a good player, a support player. And so I really wanted to kind of like mix up the video. First point on carry, second point on support. Just think about this when you're playing your next game, or if you're doing another VOD analysis. I actually just made one on the gameleap website. And talking about that, that's probably point number 3 of this video, which is it's possible to gain rank without a gameleap sub. It's impossible, guys. Let's just be real, right? In the modern day and age, everyone's getting so good. How are you going to gain rank without a gameleap sub? I mean, come on. It's impossible. What else am I supposed to say? Literally impossible. There's nothing you can do. Getting into the 4th point is that Regen is purchased when you get low. It's crazy, guys. So probably a week ago, I advertised here on the channel that I was doing coaching, and a few of you guys signed up. And it's been a lot of fun, but I've noticed this common trend in the laning stage where Regen was purchased when they were low. And this is insane to me because what I've realized is that you can unironically win the laning stage from 0 MMR to like 4k MMR just by buying ample regen and trading somewhat decently. Like, that's it. People would be 300 health and then ship the tangos. Guys, if you want to be a top level player, it's simple. You buy regen because you know you're going to fight. There's very few lanes where you're just going to sit at full HP. Yeah, in those lanes, you actually shouldn't buy regen, you should rush your big item. But that is barely the case. Don't be greedy, don't rush boots when you're 300 gold away. You're full HP, sure, but you're probably going to get zoned out by the Gyro Crystal Maiden lane. I'm sure you're going to get hit by Flat Cannon, I'm sure you're going to get frostbitten at some point. You can't just sit on 200 health. You're going to miss last hits. Even if you don't die, it's like, but I didn't die speed, I can just ship out the regen when I need it. It's not about dying. It's about being able to play every single wave, every single creep. This was just insane. It was like across the board. So please go look at your games. If you're buying regen late, you're strictly just making a mistake. And it was in like all of the games. So I had to put it in this video. Okay, and last point of the video is that offlaners shouldn't farm. I know this is kind of a theme of the video in terms of like farming, who should farm, who shouldn't farm. But I just really wanted to make the point clear across this video, and it's really what's on my mind right now. Obviously, regen has nothing to do with this, but I think farm priority is something that people just don't understand. And I said this line to one of my students earlier today, but play your hero, don't play your role. I really believe that this is something people should think more about, which is, sure, it's good to understand what your role generally is. That is useful. It's good to know as the carry that you probably should take space. And you probably come online around minute 30, but that's like truly come online. I mean, hit your biggest timing. There's like plenty of small timings. It's good to know as an offlaner that your general job is to be an initiator. However, Dota has clearly shown, the meta has clearly evolved way past that. It's just a baseline. Like maybe you should create a lot of space as an offlaner in most games, but certainly not every game and certainly at specific times. So why am I saying this? Well, it was clear to me based on watching one of my recent students' gameplay, he transitioned offlane, that he wasn't really farming. Then you compare it to any pro game, and you can do this in literally any role, and you'll just see a massive increase in the amount of creeps that people are hitting. It doesn't mean that they're not fighting. It doesn't mean that they're not looking for kills. In fact, the best players are able to do both. They're able to find engagements, find pickoffs, while still sticking on optimal or close to optimal farming patterns. And if that's what you're trying to do, no matter what role you are, off lane, safe lane, mid lane, you gotta be pushing in waves, you gotta be hitting timings, because timings are what enable strong fights. There are a couple of ways you can find good team fights. Number one is by catching the enemy off guard, usually by using vision, or the second way, which is in my opinion way easier, way more consistent, is by hitting item timings. And so yeah, if you're trying to gain MMR, don't limit yourself by thinking you have to create space just because you're the offlaner. Alright, that's going to be all for today's video. If you agree or disagree with anything in this video, I'd be happy to hear what you have to say in the comment section down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the gameleap website, where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace!